Car enthusiasts freak out when they hear the words hybrid and supercar in the same sentence, but today I'm going to show you why that may not necessarily be the case with this McLaren Artura Spider.
But first, a little bit of history. You can trace back hybrid supercars to things like the BMW i8 concept car, but it really took off with the Holy Trinity. McLaren brought the P1, Porsche brought the 918, and Ferrari created the Ferrari, or the LaFerrari. Strict emissions regulations were on the way, and brands realized that they need to change something. They need to prove that you can make hybrid fun, and they did so by making cars faster than they ever were before. It wasn't about fuel economy and things like that. It wasn't about ruining the driving experience. It was about pure performance. I love nothing more than a screaming V12, but the sad truth is that brands just can't make these cars anymore because of the enforced regulations, and they're getting worse. However, when hybrid supercars are fun to drive, that's all us enthusiasts should really care about. The electric motor fills in the torque gaps of smaller turbocharged engines, the battery range makes them better for Captain Planet, and we all win in the end. Maybe the only sad thing about the Holy Trinity is that besides that one Chris Harris video, no one ever drove them. And this is where it gets pretty interesting for me. You can go into a Porsche, Ferrari, or a McLaren dealership today and buy a car that, at least on paper, gives you a very similar experience to those cars from the Holy Trinity. And that brings me to the McLaren Artura Spider.
And then there's this, the McLaren Artura. And today we've got the Artura Spider, obviously, because it has no roof. It's going to cost you a little bit more than the coupe. This one stickers at 525,000 Australian dollars before you put all of the options on it and before you pay those on-road costs. So I'm going to start on the front end. I know what you're thinking. All McLarens look the same, and I'm not going to lie, the Artura Spider isn't doing much to change people's opinions, but this car has been nicely spec'd. You've got a carbon fiber front splitter down here. It's one of the biggest carbon fiber front splitters I've ever seen in my life, quite frankly. It goes all the way up here to all these vents here. You've got vents at the front, around the headlight, a nice daytime running strip here. Obviously, your bonnet is under here. Actually, a decent amount of space in here, and you can keep all your charging cables under here because it is a plug-in hybrid, and you can drive this thing on electricity. More on that later. Of course, we have the retractable hardtop here, which can go up and down in 11 seconds. We'll go down this side of the car. I'm just going to point out all the carbon fiber on this thing because that's where a lot of the money's going. Got carbon fiber here on the front fender, carbon fiber mirror caps, and these are not cheap pieces. Come around the back, carbon fiber on your rear vents. This exhaust funnel, so you've got exhaust out the back of the car, dual exit, then you've got one out the top as well. They've moved this back a little bit from the coupe, which is a bit more centrally located, but you can't put it in there anymore because there's a hard top. And while we're at the back of the car, I just want to talk about how good McLarens look from the rear end. I know everyone says they look the same from the front. Look at the rear. Come down here. See that? That's the gearbox. Real carbon rear diffuser. Perfect. A McLaren dual exit exhaust and metal sort of hexagonal vents, which are quite cool from following behind because you can see all the inner workings of the car, and I just think it's cooler. So here we are inside the McLaren Artura Spider. I've left the roof out because you won't be able to see anything because it's an extremely hot day in Sydney. We're talking 40 degrees. So what do you get? Well, you get the classic McLaren interior. You get that steering wheel with no buttons on it because it's all about the focus of the driver. The flappy paddles in metal, and of course the binnacle switches up here for drive mode on the right hand side, and then suspension on the left. The view out of this cockpit is by far the best you get in any supercar. It's better than Ferrari, it's better than Lambo, it's better than you name it. Such low door sills, such easy visibility at the front of the car, and then out the back it's unmatched, especially in the Spider. You even have a little switch up here to put down that rear glass so you can hear more of the engine, which I find myself doing all the time. The seats we've got in this car, pretty simple, bucket seats. They're not hardcore carbon fiber units like you get as an option in Ferraris and a lot of Aston Martins now. And the driving position is pretty darn comfortable. You get that great visibility, and I can raise and lower this thing. I've got my seat as low as I can possibly get it. I've got some friends that have been driving these at 6'4". That's about the maximum height you want to be, which is still better than any Lambo. Down here, we've got the touchscreen infotainment unit. It's pretty basic. I mean, it's classic McLaren in that they don't really enjoy putting big touchscreens in cars, but it does get you wide Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and you've got your Prindle, your PRND down here, but no P because it's a McLaren. Orange or papaya start-stop button. And besides the Bowers & Wilkins sound system that's optional in this car, that's pretty much it. And I quite like it. And I'd love to show you underneath the rear deck into the bonnet, rear bonnet, whatever you want to call it. There's an engine underneath here. It's a 3-litre twin-turbo V6 that with the electric motor produces 515 kilowatts of power or 690 bhp for you people in Britain. It's pretty quick, so why don't we take it for a drive? So we're on our way to some better roads, and I just wanted to quickly point out that we're in some neighborhoods, so I've switched it into electric mode with the little toggle switch up here on the instrument binnacle, and it's pretty cool. It kind of sounds like a Formula E car. I'm not sure if you can hear the whining from the electric motor, but I think that sounds pretty cool. If it's the first time you've turned the car on today, it'll cold start, so it'll keep running on electric, so I'll switch it now to sport, which fires the engine up. And right now it's still driving like an electric car until the engine's warm enough. You can tell that it's still on electric. And now it's in. It's really smooth, the transition from electric to petrol. And it adds a whole lot more performance. There it goes, 8th gear, quiet. No drone from the exhaust whatsoever. Wow, that's pretty impressive. You could do some big Ks in this car pretty comfortably. We're on some better roads now, and the first thing you notice every time you get into McLaren is just how good the steering is. They've kept all the hydraulic goodness that you possibly want. There's no electric racks on any McLaren, and the fact there's no buttons here I think just adds to that experience. No distractions, and a nice big center rev counter in front of me. Suspension in sport mode is not too stiff, which I love. And they've also done a bit of work with the exhaust, and I think it makes a difference. It doesn't sound nearly as gravelly and mechanical. It has that nice sweet tone. I was recently driving the 296 GTS, which would be the most logical competitor to this car, and that does sound a little bit better. I think Ferrari has really made a miniature V12 from that V6. But the changes that McLaren has made to this exhaust for the MY25 models, including this Spider, is a lot better. It sounds a lot better. It's nice. It has a nice crispy tone. Woo. And the gearbox, 8-speed, super responsive, does everything you could possibly ask of it. And then when you put your foot down, 690 horsepower is a lot of horsepower. It is no joke. It's cool because you do get the sense that there's an electric motor giving you a little bit of extra propulsion, but it doesn't take away anything from the experience. And the steering and the suspension just work so well together. I mean, it's just carved roads. Another thing I can't get over is how well put together this car is. I know it's a bit of a thing with McLarens. Everyone goes, oh, they're screwed together with wood screws, but it's super refined in here. I've been driving this car around for a couple of days, as I said, and nothing rattles. It's so tight. It's like I'm in a Porsche. It's probably the most well put together McLaren that I've driven. So how would it compare to some of its peers? Well, the 296 GTS is the most logical competitor, and I think it's a bit unfair to compare this car to that one because it's over $100,000 more expensive. It does have over 100 more horsepower, but it is a lot faster. I mean, this car simply wouldn't be able to keep up with it in a straight line. That Ferrari is just absolutely off its head, and it does sound a little bit better. But for what you're getting with this McLaren, the steering in this car and the daily drivability is definitely up there with that Ferrari. But as a standalone product, I am very, very in love with this car. It's so well put together. And the duality that it gives you, the steering, like the amount of feedback it gives, all the things you touch and feel are just actually high quality bits. Like you got metal paddle shifters that just feel good every single time you pull them because they're cool and they make a nice click sound. I think this dispels the myth, at least to me, that hybrid supercars are boring. I mean, they haven't driven one of these. If anything, they're too fast. For a road like this, which is one of the better ones in Sydney, a car like this is too fast. fast. You really need to take it to the track. This car's still ridiculously fast. It sounds good. They've done all these fixes to the exhaust. The suspension is comfortable in sport mode. You put into track mode, it stiffens up even more. The fact you can drive on electric mode from your house to not annoy your neighbors and then cruise it up the freeway in comfort and silence. And then when you get to a fun piece of road, hit the switch, stick in a sport mode, and you've got 690 horsepower, some of the best steering, if not the best steering in the game. A super responsive gearbox, comfort, so much fun. Would this car be better if it had like a flat plane crank V8? I don't think it'd be better, it'd be a completely different thing. But for what this is, it's pretty damn fun. So that's it for the McLaren Artura Spider. Hopefully I've done a little bit to convince you that hybrid supercars aren't as scary and boring as you might assume. This is one of the most fun cars money can buy right now. And I don't think the hybrid E thing should scare you. You get all the benefits of the electric car. You can cruise out of your driveway without annoying your neighbors. You get that instant throttle response. And then when you want it, you can just unleash all hell with a 3-litre twin-turbo V6 that definitely sounds a little bit improved over the previous generation car. You guys let me know what you think of the McLaren Artura Spider down in the comments. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and even turn on the bell, because all these things help push this video to more people. This has been another episode of The Rev Up. Come back to see what we're driving next week.